excited.
I'm excited. Are
I'm
you
excited
kidding
to
me?
show you this car.
Okay, in terms of vehicles that really have impacted my life, you want to talk about this one in particular, the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's really easy to discount Fast and Furious, but you just can't. It's changed the game for us.
Oh, it's to me, it's spawned a lot of the passion that I have for building cars. And a lot of it, you know, when you first see it or saw it, it was outlandish. And it's like, nah, this is Hollywood. This isn't real.
Warning, danger to manifold, floor pans, freaking
flying out,
this
jumping
thing
off
flying.
bridges.
The inspiration from this series really pushed so many people into loving this kind of culture. This quote-unquote underground culture.
Making it a real thing, because a lot of hot rodders frowned upon this stuff back in the day. The movies kind of gave it some credibility, I think.
Exactly. So then this is like a inspiration build from the one that Paul Walker drove, the R34 that he bought in some junkyard or whatever, rebuilt. Went all the way to Miami. And then so your take is like the modern interpretation, but pushed to 11?
Right. So, you know, it's no surprise. We've done a few of these recreations, and none of them are meant to be replicas. They're meant to be a tribute. So we build the cars loosely based off the movie car, but as though the movie happened today and with modern technology. So you'll look through this car, you're gonna see a Motec M150. You're gonna see paddle shifters. You're gonna see Power Glide 2-speed transmission. A lot of things that the movie car didn't have and couldn't have back then. We've put that technology into this car.
Which, by the way, I freaking love the fact that I posted a series of pictures of this yesterday, and so many comments were like, it doesn't look anything like the movie car.
It wasn't meant to.
Like, and then other people are saying, people are saying like, oh my God, most of those companies went bankrupt or don't exist anymore.
No, they're right,
Yeah, but that's besides the point. That wasn't your whole intention. Your whole intention is to build this crazy, I'm assuming you could probably do quarter mile, standing mile stuff too.
So it's the intention of this car is to do drag racing. We really wanted to build an 8-second drag car. So that's what we've done here. We haven't raced it yet. It hasn't been shaken down, so we don't know what exactly it's going to run. But with the weight, we know that. We know the RPM. We know the horsepower. The calculations pencil out to a 790s or a low 8, which is pretty fast.
And then, of course, the heart of it, PRP, Platinum Racing Products. Love the guys, love Herman.
Yes.
With his endless amount of Hawaiian shorts. I love that you guys partnered up with him for this build.
So Herman's become a really close friend of mine, and he's been working on this cast block of his for a little while now, and also cast head.
So it is, explain to me a little bit, it's a RB.
This is an RB26.
26, but it wasn't made from Nissan. It was made from...
This one is.
Okay, this one is.
Now, the motor that will end up in this car will eventually be 001 of his RO, or his R0 project, which is a cast proprietary block and a cast proprietary head from PRP that they've made, and it solves all the oiling issues and all the things that you know are inherent on an RB26 or RB variant. So
So it's an improvement on it.
It is.
And part of it is not because Nissan stopped making them. They're not making them fast enough.
Correct.
And B, they're inherently
you have to fix a bunch of stuff.
Faulty from the factory to make big power. To make the power that these guys want to make.
Yeah, exactly. So Herman has addressed those things and is now onto a solution and going to be bringing those to market shortly. Now, one of those engines was meant to be in here, Larry, but fortunately it didn't get tested in time. So Herman whipped us up this 05U block. This is actually an RB25 block that's been made to 2.6 liters. And it has an 05U Nissan head as well that's been completely worked over. Made 1219 on the engine dyno.
1219.
Yeah, and that was with only 34 pounds of boost.
So then why not like a diesel RB block or like RB30? Which is a lot of what we saw at GTR.
Yes.
So you and I...
It's a simple answer.
You and I took the pilgrimage to Australia to see this lack of mechanical sympathy for these cars that are so revered here in the US.
Yeah, to us it's like a sacrilege to do what they do.
To me, you wouldn't like seeing the way I drive my GTR here.
Right.
I baby it.
Yeah.
I want to detail it, clean the wheels.
Yeah.
You know, kiss it before I put it to sleep at night. These guys in Australia, I mean,
they're beat the snot out of them, but you got to remember they've had them for 25 years. They basically grew up with these cars. Where this is unobtainium to us. This was the forbidden fruit for us. Now we can have it.
It only became legal this year.
Yes. Now this one we cheated because this is actually a 99 model, but it's a GT.
Okay.
This did not start life as a GTR, and that should make many of your audience happy. We didn't cut up a GTR to build this car.
So then, from my understanding, there are certain things that differentiate the chassis to a GTR. Like, I think you have to make some room for a transfer case or something.
I can show you, yeah. So there was a lot of fab work that had to go into getting the drivetrain in this car. Mm-hmm. This pocket here, we actually hand fashioned and welded that in. It's seam sealed in. But a factory floor pan would already have that panel in there, right?
Got it.
So this looks a little Frankenstein-y, but that's what's required to get a transfer case under this car.
And that's the only thing that's different from the GTR to the GTT?
No.
Oh, there's a lot of other things.
The front subframe and the rear subframes are completely different. And then the front subframe, it mounts in 8 total locations, and only 2 bolts fit factory locations on the frame rails. So we had to create the other 6 bolt holes. If you look in here, you can actually see where we drilled through the frame rail and sleeved the frame rails to line everything up so that we could get a front subframe to carry the all-wheel drive system.
And then were you able to source a front subframe pretty easily for that stuff?
R34 subframes are still available at the dealer level, so we were able to get those from Nismo or Nissan Parts USA, brand new. Yeah, take a look in here, man. It's all new parts.
That is super cool. Are you telling me that this is something that people can do, turning their GTTs into GTRs?
If you go watch the Throtl episodes, the first 2 episodes of this build is showing me tunneling the front unibody members so that the axles can pass through. You have to cut a little section out, like a C-notch in a truck. You have to do that in the front, make that pocket, get the subframes, and then change the rear front suspension out to GTR bits, and you're home free.
Okay, so then what was the reason why you didn't want to go with a diesel block?
Because we wanted to prove that a 26 can make power, and it makes it very good. Like, you don't need to go a 3-liter. This makes 10,000 RPM, and it did 1,219 horsepower. It can be done, and I think the 2.6s sound the best, honestly. I remember the cars from the early 2000s, D1 GP that used to run like BR, so that running the 2.6s.
Yeah.
And they just always sounded so good to me.
You're right.
So it was a challenge to Herman and I to let's see if we can do a 2.6 and make the jam it needs to run a high 7, low 8 pass, and we've done it.
I love it so much. Love that crazy valve cover.
Yeah.
Your Collab throttle.
Yeah. So these are their billet covers. This is basically their catalog in a crate engine. This is their first crate engine that's ever left their factory.
Amazing.
So it's an honor to have that. We've paired it with Artex manifold. This is their Big Daddy manifold. We've got exhaust probes on each runner. We've got a Garrett G45 1600. It's already plumbed for nitrous.
That is so cool.
We still have a bit of work to do on it when we get back, buddy, after GTR Festival, but...
This is the top rank CSF Collab radiator for the R34. I need to get that.
No, it's not, actually.
Oh, it's not? What is it?
No, so funny enough, the R34 GTs and GTTs use an R33 GTR core support. So this is actually an R33 GTR radiator to fit an R34.
Got it.
So this core support's a bit different on a GT. Your GTR would have a little bit different shape to it, and I think it sits a little bit higher so that the 34 radiator sits in a different configuration.
Amazing.
Something along those lines.
I just can't wait to hear this thing. I mean, it's going to be shooting flames,
yes,
I'm assuming, through the hood right there.
Yes, big ones.
Yeah. And you guys really killed it in terms of paying tribute to the movie car.
Yeah.
The livery. Are there some logos where it's the same place?
It is.
Right. I think
one.
Is McGuire's the same?
This did not exist.
Oh, okay. McGuire's did not.
Right here was a Motec sticker.
Okay.
And we are running a Motec ECU, but we paid for it, so we figured Platinum Racing products deserve that.
Got it.
And then we work with Sunoco Race Fuels, so we gave them a pretty premium spot as well. And then McGuire's.
So Sparco's the only one
This is the only logo I'm aware of that is exactly in the place it was in the movie car.
And is it the old style logo?
No, this is still their current logo.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, so the movie car only had 9 stickers on the hood.
Yeah.
But we had a few extra sponsors. So.
You, out of all people, would know this stuff. You got so nerdy into this.
Man.
Like I love that so much.
Yeah.
I love that. I knew I was going to ask that question. I knew you were going to know.
Yeah.
You were going to know the answer
which
to that
one
question.
went where.
Yeah,
and this is an
like,
authentic C West. This is the bumper from the movie car, actually. We sourced that used and had it fixed up and repaired because it was in pretty bad shape.
the paint's great. So good.
Sabon hood, Sabon 10 millimeter over fenders, but they have the Amore factory style
Z-Tune look.
But they added a vent.
That's cool.
I went with these because I didn't want people to think we were using rip-off parts, basically. I didn't want to think we were copying Nismo.
Yeah.
So we went with a vented version, so it was obvious that it wasn't.
Right. I mean, it's functional too.
It's cool.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's
it's going to relieve pressure from the front
For
area.
sure. And so, you know, not only is the car basically have the PRP awesome race prepped engine, it has a ton of PRP underneath it as well. We've got their 8.8 inch billet differential underneath the back with their big axles. This thing can hold probably 3,000 plus horsepower. The current drivetrain configuration we have underneath it. So
Parachute, because you're going to need that. That's pretty freaking cool,
this.
man.
Yeah, a little nervous about this, to be honest, because it takes a pretty spicy calculation to figure out what size parachute you need by how much your car weighs, how fast you're going, so it doesn't lift the back of the car off the ground.
This is a big car.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about 3,000 pounds. So
what's back here?
Not a lot. So because it is a drag car, we tried to keep it pretty simple. Use some Cusco tie downs. I thought this was very cool for this car. Oh, our trash is in here, but basically we've got a 6-gallon radium fuel cell with a single electric pump in here. We've got all of Dime PSI's quick connects fittings, which are pretty cool. This is a spew tank for the dry sump system. So this line runs under the car, through the bulkhead, and it vents out through here off the valve cover.
So is this different also from the GTR?
Yes.
Because I know the GTR has the shelf with the battery and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I made all this. So Ricky actually made a structure to house the fuel cell, and I came back in and built this floor pan and then this bulkhead, because when you go racing, they want you to separate the fuel from the cockpit. So you can see up here even, we fashioned these panels to close off all the holes that are in the package tray, because otherwise all the ventilation could go right into the car. So it's kind of important. That comes from my drift car building background. It's like you want to isolate the fuel from the cockpit.
You guys are really doing it right, because it's so many builds that you know here on the showroom floor where they don't even document it, they don't even film it. There's nothing to show for it,
It's
and
sad.
it's because they're builders at heart.
Yeah.
I don't
just want
fault
to build,
them.
right?
Yeah, I don't fault them.
I'm kind of
for
that
it.
way myself.
But
it's hard for me to slow down.
You're forced to slow down.
Yeah.
And for the benefit of everybody.
Yeah,
really.
Thankfully our team grabs the camera and says, "Oh, Mickey, do that again, and we need to film that."
Yeah.
I'm bad at it because I'm like these old guys. I just want to build stuff. But this day and age, if we're not putting it on YouTube, we're doing everyone a disservice because we're doing the work.
Yeah.
We might as well document it and put it out there for the world to see. Now, there is a documented rear-wheel drive to all-wheel drive converted R34. There's not a single other one on the internet.
So then does this have like a stock Attessa system?
Let me clarify. There's not a single other one on the internet where they show you how to do it. We've shown you how to make a rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. This does have the Attessa system. It's actually, we used an R32 Attessa pump. It's right here, literally right there.
Right.
And here's the connector for it because it's not hooked up yet.
Got it. Okay.
So Andrew Hannison actually sent me this from Australia. And the reason we chose an R32 Attessa pump was because it's controllable. So we can turn it off and on, do a rear-wheel drive burnout, and turn it back on.
Right.
And Motec can control all that. So when we stage, do the burnout, hit the button on the dash.
And that's
all-wheel
also
drive.
why you could do a dyno run on an R32 with a two-wheel drive dyno, but you can't really do it on a 34.
Correct. You need to remove the front shaft
Understood.
on a 33, 34.
So
we went backwards, technology-wise, to more analog with the Attessa system.
it is still all-wheel drive, but now you're using a different transmission.
Yeah, so this is a 2-speed power glide, as I mentioned, with a custom torque converter. It's using the Platinum Racing Products adapter bell housing as well as transfer case, basically spacer. It positions a transfer case in the right location. And so, Platinum Racing Products was integral in this build. They make a little bit of everything to the drive-by-wire pedal mount down there. It's just...
I kind of feel like you need to carry a stick more to point at stuff. No, you're just pointing at stuff and...
This is our hood prop.
No, this is great. All of it drive-by-wire.
Yeah, so it's all, like I said, we packed as much modern technology in this as we could. You even have a Zestec steering wheel controller, do paddle shifting, and we can control our two-step function or off and on with the all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive controller can be managed through all these buttons here.
Oh, that is so cool.
So we haven't programmed that yet, but it has a ton of features, and we're going to use it to the best of our ability. Alongside the CAN touchpad from Rywire, that does all the rest of the stuff. So that's our ignition and startup, the line locks on there. Of course, our LED lighting and our purge is on there as well.
So why the
this
3
car.
bottles?
Well, that's a movie thing. So
because he's like, I need the big ones, 3 of them.
But that's a different movie. But this movie, this
the
car,
second one,
this Too Fast and Furious, the car actually had 3 bottles in the passenger seat. We just felt like it had to have it.
Yeah.
And so we're using 2 of the bottles for the engine, 1 of the bottles for purge. The reason we did a 1 bottle for purge is because we're going to take this to a lot of events and people want to see that.
Right.
That's part of the movie. He pulls up to the start line.
And then everybody,
the crowd goes away. Yeah.
Jumps away because it's so crazy.
Yeah. So we actually have the purges right here.
It's the same place.
Where it is in the movie. Yeah.
Right. Exact same place.
So,
Yeah.
and they come out to like here. When we spray them, they're like out
No.
here. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So going back to the interior, I mentioned we're using Motec, so we've got their full system in here, and it's all wired up down there on the floor pan. We can look on the passenger side if you want.
Yep, let's go there. Wait, I love the carbon Sparco seat.
Yes.
Super lightweight.
Yeah, super light. So that's the
Very
sort
stiff.
of the theme of this car was I love carbon fiber. So we threw as much in here as we could. We reached out to Sydney Composites. They made us this custom race dash and door cards, like lickety split for us and shipped them over the ocean for us.
Let's go that side.
This is, I'm calling this an Aussie spec build because it's majority of the parts on it are from Australia. Mm-hmm. And as you know, because you've been there, they do this really well.
Yeah, they do.
And they've been doing it for so long.
They do such a good job to make these go fast. You know, up until GTR Fest, I legitimately have never seen fast GTRs. I've just never seen GTRs go 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's earth-shattering is what it is.
It's nuts.
I literally, when I rode in a lot of these cars on the street, I lost my hat from the G-forces.
Well, this one's going to suck your eyes back in your head on the start line, hopefully. But so you can see all the Motec gear down there. We've got a black box from Rywire, as well as the thermos. It's all tied up. Ricky did a really good job of putting that all in the footwell down there.
It's so clean.
And this is just so we can run the lights and stuff throughout the show without killing the battery.
It's so clean.
Tuck the battery up under here. Battery kills there so the driver can reach it.
Yeah.
We may have to move that. I don't know if some of the sanctioning bodies are going to allow us to have it there, but
I also love the fact that you're going to race this. You're really, really.
I don't know if I'm going to race it. I don't know if I have the for that, but
well, you guys are going to race it. That's the important thing. I think that's really cool.
One of the other themes on the inside was to gut it because it's a race car, but we wanted to keep it super clean, so we went through and filled a bunch of holes. And if you don't know a 34 GTR, it just looks like a gutted interior, but if you know what you're looking at, you can tell how much time has been put into finishing the interior and making it nice. Tied a roll cage kit in from Cage Kits. Turned out it's awesome, man.
And one thing that a lot of people may not realize is how fast this timeline was.
Yeah.
I literally saw you post a picture on Instagram. It's like, these have to go into this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so this car, it got held up at the paint shop for a while, and we ended up bolting this car together in 9 days.
Oh my God.
Before SEMA. So
amazing.
And the fact that it runs and drives and works is a testament to my team at the shop, the Throtl guys. We couldn't have done this, any of us, by ourselves.
So cool.
The team killed it.
Good. Thank you so much for walking us through this build.
No problem.
I cannot wait to see this thing run.
Me too.
I'm so stoked on it.
After GTR Festival in Texas, we're going to get it back and get it dialed up.
Cool. Awesome.